good. Where are you headed? You're in your car. Mike Garafolo is with us. He's in his car. Where are you going, sir? You're not driving and doing this.
No, you can see the trees aren't moving, right?
Yeah.
See, now this is going to bring up a whole throwback to last week's conversation.
This is what we
when
want.
I tell you this. I am about to go into a golf lesson. Now you're going to say, why are you in a regular shirt? Why are you not dressed up as if you're going to the driving range? I don't know. I got a different set of rules for the lesson, which is indoors in a pod. I don't dress up for that for some reason.
I don't understand you. So
I don't understand me.
We don't understand. You know what? Here's the deal with all of us. We don't understand any of ourselves, do we? So you don't dress up in the golf attire for the golf lesson.
Right.
But the driving range, it's full on Sunday red tiger. Okay. All right. Okay. What are we working on with the lesson? What do we got?
What are we working on specifically? This is lesson number 2, but I did a swing evaluation for my first one. Here's my biggest issue. I did the swing evaluation in the first lesson with one guy. Before I went for the first lesson, he goes, and he did my club fitting too. He goes, hey, didn't want to bug you. Last week was the draft. Just so you know, today's going to be our last lesson. I'm leaving the company. So I booked a 15-pack of lessons.
You're like, hey, buddy.
So we switching. He goes, if you want to just bail today, I'm like, nah, I'll come. We'll do it today. And he goes, yeah, I'll pass you off to one of the other guys after that. So this is my first lesson with the next guy. And it's like, do I pick up, how do we, this is what we were working on. Yeah, throw that stuff out. Don't worry. Well, then I want that lesson back. So we got to
what's this new guy all about? Does he, did we transition all the stuff over? What if you don't like the new guy?
I like the first guy. JT was a good guy.
Okay.
He was working. Apparently they were grinding him, 50 hours a week, and he was looking for a cool 25. He's like in that, on his way to retirement type deal. And he wanted to play golf. He's like, I'm here for 50 hours a week. He's got his, I don't want to say too much about his life, but he's like, I'm not playing enough golf. So that's not the point. I said, I get you, dude. If anybody's going to get you, it's your clientele here, right?
I always thought I always thought one of the cool jobs, and I promise we're going to get to the NFL in a second here, okay? So just settle down. I always thought one of the cool jobs would be to be a golf pro, like at a course, at a country club, like specifically a country club. But then as I got older and I would talk to these guys, I'm like, God, it must be fun to be a pro here, such and such country club. And like, yeah, but I don't ever play golf ever. Like I never get to play golf. And I'm like, well, that
they get
sucks.
to play.
Yeah, not as much as you think though. Like I'm thinking you're playing like every day, but they got a lot of like administrative crap they got to do, like lessons and coordinating.
We all have things to do. They're just steps away from, like we then have to get in the car and go.
Yeah.
If they like, hey, I could go out and play 9 right now. Like, they just got to walk right there, and it's there. Yeah. So, cry me a river.
But I guess I always envisioned like I'm just going up there, grab a cup of coffee at the country club, and I'm playing 18, and kick our feet up and have some lunch, and that's the day.
No, it's still a job. It's like people when they think about my job or your job, and it's like, oh, isn't it? Yeah, it's like but if on that particular day my boss is up my butt about something or something happened with a team and I go, yeah, it's okay. And they're like, what do you mean it's okay? Well, it's still a job, right? Like so there's still that element of it's a job that creeps in. I'm sure it happens for them as well. Yeah.
Well, because it's always things you don't want to complain too much about this.
Here's what you want.
Never.
Here's what you want. You want to hit the lottery and just play golf. That's what you want.
Well, that's what I want to do. That's what you want to do,
yes.
Isn't it? That's what,
sure. Yeah.
When I hear these people and they're like, oh, if I win the Powerball, you know what? I don't think I'd give up working. I need something to do every day. I am so fucking out of there. I mean, I'm dropping everything and I am playing golf every single day. It doesn't have to be 18. It can be 6. It can be 9. But I'm playing golf every day. Yeah. And I'm moving to a place where I can play golf every day.
That's right. Yeah. Get there.
God, I mean, I just don't. If you won the Powerball, would you work? Or would you just be like, I'm retiring?
Well, I guess in my line of work,
You would
you're
stay.
right there with me. Yeah, I mean, there's still an element of if they'll have me, right? And it could still I don't want to. I'd probably be like, we bring it back full circle. I'd probably be like JT. Like I didn't have 50 hours a week in mind. I had about 25. But
Yeah.
Once it's kind of hard to kind of dip your toe in. Like, hey, NFL Network, I'm going to do one show a week. Like I'm still going to be in the payroll. You could pay me nothing, by the way, but I'm still going to do one show. I don't know. Would they have me?
Oh, that's fair. Okay, I get it. It's just to have something. Yes, something to do. I get it.
But it reminds me. It reminds me of that joke. The guy every day is praying to God, to win the lottery. It never happens, and he's like, God, why haven't I won the lottery? And all of a sudden, the voice of God calls out, "Buy a ticket." I don't buy tickets. I got to make that happen.
That's true. Yeah, neither do I. All right, here we go. Mike Garafolo inside his car, about to go into a golf lesson. It's all brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance, family-owned, second-generation independent insurance agency that's been serving the Puget Sound area since 1978. They promise honesty, fairness, and integrity. You can contact Jamie when he's not playing golf, because this guy plays golf all the time. 253-565-8700.
That's the job we want.
00. It's when you come out here and go play golf with these two putzes, that you're going to play in this golf game that they've got, money game, and you're going to shake your head on the scoring system and how they keep score. It's not that the scoring system's hard, but the money and all the different bets they got going on. And I can't keep up with it. And I just say at the end of the round, how much do I owe people, or how much am I getting?
Yeah,
because you guys have 15,000 games going on right now, because they do a game which you automatically are down 2 holes. It's an auto press, so you've created a different game, and you at the end of 18 you have I don't know 5-6 different games going on, and it's a lot of math. But Jamie handles it all, and he can handle your insurance. Also, Zogs on Fox Island, great place to grab a cold beer, watch the game, hang out with friends. New spring and summertime hours at Zogs. Check them out on Facebook and Instagram. Let's start with this. Have you watched the full 3 hours of the Brady roast?
I have. Yes, it was.
Thoughts?
I was watching it and I'm like, why am I staying up for this, right? And then I thought, well, I guess it's sort of still newsworthy, right? He's trying to, which he said, I'm trying to buy a piece of the Raiders, which may or may not be the first time he's acknowledged it. And there's still like a Belichick news element to it. I was like, there's still news. I got to watch it. I thought it was the Giselle stuff. She
Did you
could
think
not
cross
have
the
appreciated.
line?
No, when you do a roast, it's not crossing the line. I just find it funny that the one thing that he put the stop to was the craft massage stuff. And on top of that, everybody seemed like they abided by it. And the way that he reacted and the way that Jeff Ross reacted when he's like, okay, that's it. I could tell in my mind, I may be wrong, but that sounded like that was a prerequisite. No craft massage joke, because nobody else even attempted it. And the one time Jeff Ross kind of did it, and he's like, okay, no. Like, I know I'm going to get yelled at for this. And he got, that's the only thing he got out of his chair for.
I was thinking about it, but why that? Why the joke about the old man? First, he's an old man getting a rub and a tug. I mean, okay, but why that? But not the Giselle, not the jokes about his wife that he's got kids with, sleeping with the jiu-jitsu instructor.
Why that? Because that's, and I remember that the show with Paul Rudd came out around the time of that. Do you remember that? And he was in it, and it was like Paul Rudd was. It was a weird show. I tried to watch it, and I love Paul Rudd. He's amazing. And I watched one episode. I never went back to it. It was on Netflix, and basically they clone you, and they make a better version of you, and they kill the old version of you. But he wakes up. They don't kill him, and he wakes up. So now there's 2 versions of him. It's a pretty good concept. I don't know but Brady goes to and it looks like a massage parlor. And Rudd gets there, and he's all nervous, and he goes to walk in, and Brady's walking out, and he's like, is this your first time? And he's like, my 6th, right? Because I guess he'd won his 6th title or whatever. Yeah. And then he goes in. But it looks, at that point, it looks like a massage thing. And that, you don't remember that? That was a whole thing, and he was asked about it.
I don't remember
Brady,
that at
all. Brady snapped at a reporter who asked him about it. It's like, you know, completely out of context. And
so he's sensitive to anything craft.
Big time. Which really goes back to when he left New England, how much it was about how bad could it have been with him and Belichick if he's got that kind of love for Robert Kraft.
Yeah.
And he was leaving him. Like, how bad must it have been? And it's just amazing to me. This is like basic human interaction stuff. To see the way that they're reacting up on stage and interacting with one another. And I understand the cameras are on, and I understand that, stuff's not going to play out the way it plays out behind closed doors. But to see them be able to interact, it's like, why can't you just do this? Why can't Belichick just be a normal human the way you're being a normal human? Why can't you just be normal?
I don't know. I thought he was good. I thought he was good up there. I thought Bledsoe was great. And the thing about Drew Bledsoe, because he's a fight, he went to America's greatest school, of course, Washington State, #1 overall pick. Have you ever had his wine? Yeah. He makes this wine in Walla Walla, Washington, which is like the Sonoma, of Washington and like the West Coast, right? So he's hammered. I mean, hammered drunk is Drew Bledsoe. And but I thought he was funny as hell. It was great.
Yeah.
He was taking shots at him left and right. It was good.
Yeah, people said, like, why would Brady do this and all that stuff. And I get that part of it. I appreciate that you're willing to put yourself up there. I was trying to think to myself, like, if I went up there and people roasted me, I have no idea what they would say. Like, Tom Brady's got enough material. That's the thing about Brady is you got to have enough. Like, Trump did it one time, and there's plenty of material for him to get whacked. I'm trying to think who else did the
you got to have thick skin
over the years.
You got to have thick skin to do it.
Gotta. Like, if there'd be stuff that people would say, and it would be tough for me to kind of sit there and take it. But, I thought everybody did a nice job. Randy Moss was kind of awkward, but
he was terrible.
It was more the delivery. Well, they always set up somebody. Usually they set up somebody in these roasts to bomb. It was Ann Coulter one time. The Situation bombed one time. The Situation was at the Trump one. If you haven't watched that, go see that.
Okay.
But they write the material for everybody. But you could tell they intentionally take a dive on one person. They really didn't do that on this one. I thought the material was strong all the way through.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah. Well, and I'm blanking on her name. The female comedian,
Nikki Glazer.
Oh my God.
So good.
It's not. You know what? It's not only the writing and the jokes, it just is her delivery and timing and pace of it all. It just was bam, 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 and it was so perfect.
But that's what I was saying with the with the material. Like, Randy Moss's material was good. I just thought his delivery was a little bit off. Like, it's not really his kind of setting. It's got to be that kind of setting for a guy to deliver. And I thought Belichick was good in his delivery too. I thought the biggest disappointment was Will Ferrell as Ron Burgundy. I thought that was like, dude.
he wasn't good.
Yeah,
he wasn't funny.
No, it was bad.
You're right about
was that. Terrible too.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, he was angry. so weirdly mad.
And he didn't roast Brady. He didn't roast him. He kept praising him. Like, dude, it's the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing right now.
So Brady, that's okay. How much work has he had done? He got a lot of plastic surgery. It looks like.
Yeah. There was one point, I actually think, I don't know if you can do it to correct it, but at one point it looked like a certain way, and now I'm like, he actually looks okay now. He looks, so I don't know if it's like, hey, you went a little too tight there. Can you? I don't know. I have no idea how it works.
Yeah, when he
but I do remember
or something.
Yeah,
you can see it's a little high.
I want to say like 15 years or so into his career, he showed up for training camp, and it was like, whoa, all right, those are not the same eyes. Right?
And who's this hair plug guy? Like, who's this hair guy?
I'd like to know.
Because he has got he's got a whole new set of hair. Like, it's completely different.
Yeah.
When you watch the earlier videos of him, it's not even remotely the same.
The only thing I've thought of doing, because that seems it seems like if you're this is a lot of area to cover, isn't it? You know what I mean? So the only thing I've thought of doing is doing it's not a tattoo, but they basically mark, and you just keep it tight. It just looks like you've got a shaved head, but you got a full hair. It's the only thing I've thought of doing, but I just
that's your look now. It's your look. These are the things we talk about when there's not a ton of NFL stuff going on right now.
Hit me with some Seahawks stuff. Come on.
Before they release it, before they release the schedule, and everyone you guys at the network throw a big party. It's like Christmas when the NFL schedule gets released.
If my friends are watching, stop sending me the leaks. I don't know. I'm not allowed to break the schedule, so I'm not asking for it. Like, even if somebody sent me the full NFL schedule, I can't put out one single game. So I'm not going to stop asking me. They ask me, like, is this true? I'm like, I don't know. They go, how do you not know? Because I don't know. Because I don't want to know.
When is it coming out? Do you know when it's coming? When is it supposed to come out?
Wednesday. Yes. NFL teams that were notified. Now, it was supposed to be today. It got pushed back. I heard one of the issues was ESPN's got a couple of basketball games tonight, I think, or something like that. So they want to do a schedule release show as well, which is great. There were also some loose ends they needed to tie up. I don't know the specifics of it, but my understanding is teams were told it's next Wednesday.
All right. So when this comes out next Wednesday, when it comes out, Jamal Adams, is Jamal Adams going to be playing for the Seahawks?
We've talked about this. I've leaned toward the no. I'll continue to lean toward the no. But I know the door has been left open by John Schneider, and we talked about him coming back and playing linebacker. You know, he'd have to do some other things probably that he's not used to doing. Special teams, right? Like not being on the field every. No, I'm not. But that's, you know, you gotta understand where you are. You're not going to play the safety position. You're going to play not a different position. I mean, he's played down there before, but that's going to be sort of an exclusive position you're going to play, and you're not going to be in the field every down, right? Like and then guess what? That may be the offer wherever he goes. You know, it's. Right. I don't know that anybody's going to really. You're not going to have him playing up in space, and we saw that was a failure a couple of years ago, and he's not getting, you know, faster or anything like. So I would say, you know, that those are the kind of things he may have to say. Yeah, if I want to go. And by the way, my understanding, he left on good terms. You know, I know it was a little rocky at times the last year or whatever, but my understanding is he left on good terms, and that's why the door's kind of been left open.
Well, he's not. I don't think. Well, I think most Seahawks fans have at least the person, right? The personality. I think enjoy Jamal Adams before the whole thing with the reporter. I think before the reporter thing, I think most people would say, "Hey, he's not a good player.
Yeah,
we don't like him on the field, but as a personality, like that was always kind of my take. Like I always thought he was kind of fun to listen to. His press conferences were good. He just seemed he was a hyped up guy. Like I enjoyed him, but it was. I think that all changed when, you know, he went after that reporter's wife and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, all right. I think then people were like, all right, we're kind of done with you.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. What else was there? I feel like there was more last year that occurred. And, you know, there was that thing with the doctor on the side.
The doctor,
at the game against the Giants, which is fine. I mean, that's not a thing that's going to ruffle feathers necessarily with a team. That's more of a league thing. Yeah, and they talked to him about the reporter thing. I think there was discipline on that one. But overall, you know, it's a guy who, if he accepts a different kind of role, I think, you know, would be. I know that would be a guy that they would welcome back. But you know, there's like a couple of stages before we get there, and I don't know that he's going to sign with anybody anytime particularly soon.
Are you hearing any rumblings of anybody else, like any other teams that are interested in him? Because there was the one report I think was mentioning the Niners.
Yeah, he didn't visit or anything like that. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I have not heard anything specifically bubbling up to the point where it could happen. I mean, I'm sure there's been conversations with a bunch of teams, but nothing imminent from what I gather. Okay.
We talked about the Brady roast. What's the situation with Rice with the Chiefs? Like, what kind of like trouble can he potentially be in? And what kind of discipline do you think that the NFL potentially can hand down?
I think it could be significant. You know, it may be. I don't know. I'd be guessing on this stuff, and sometimes you know, you can work with the league on this, or you know, the union and the league can kind of not negotiate, but get to a point where okay, you accept some kind of treatment plan, and you waive your right to appeal, and it'll be a certain number, and you know, so guessing the number is hard. But I just between that and now the latest one regarding his incident at a nightclub, I mean, the shame of it all is he seemed like, and we heard this last year, he seemed like he was really working hard with the stuff in the facility and on the field. Like a lot of times a guy like that who does bonehead stuff off the field will be a bonehead on the field and at the facility. That was not the case. He was really working hard to learn the offense and to improve in a lot of areas. You heard that from Matt Nagy when I talked to him in the middle of last season, the offensive coordinator there, and then it panned out late in the year. So that's the really frustrating part for anybody who wants to see these young kids succeed. Just you gotta be smart off the field, and that was the knock on him coming in and why he slid a little bit further in the draft than he probably should have.
Hey, when you just have to you say I gotta go because I know you got your golf. I know you got your golf lesson. Are you holding up your instructor right now? Is it is it starting like now?
So. Yeah, it is starting like now. You want to walk in with me?
No, you want like 2 minutes and you got to go?
2 minutes.
That's okay.
2 minutes. We'll
okay,
do
2 minutes and you got to go because I want you to, is he putting you like in a bunch of contraptions and stuff?
No,
he got you, like,
just,
we're just working on, is he videotaping you and everything?
They got the, the shoulder turn and the hip turn and your vertical bend and all this stuff. And it's like, you're really, because they tell you in golf, you start overthinking, you're done, right? And it's just hard to not overthink, but it's more about teaching yourself muscle memory. I've got a friend of mine who just started playing, and I'm like, dude, you don't understand. Like, I'm going to tell you things, and you're going to make changes, and you're going to be like, but I don't understand. Why am I getting worse? And I go, because your brain learns a certain way. Here's how I get to the ball from here. Okay, well, if you're now going to be up, here, if we're going to change this slot, and we're going to change it. Now your brain needs to learn again how to get to the ball from a new position. And I'm like, you got to fight through that because it's better but it's so hard because you want to just break clubs and go, I just spent how much on these lessons in the clubs and I'm getting worse, So that's kind of where I am.
I'm just real quick. My son is now picked up an interest and he's 10. We got a putting green in our backyard, so he's been putting all the time. Then he wants to go to the driving range and hit. And I have to fight every urge to, when he swings, to tell him anything. Don't say anything. Just let him swing the club and not, but I'm just biting my lip. Yeah. Get your elbow tucked in, do this, do that. And I'm like, shut up. You're gonna give him way too much stuff, and he's gonna hate you for life. Just say, hey, hit the ball as hard as he can. We'll grab a hot dog afterwards and some ice cream, and then he'll love to play golf for the rest of his life. That's it. And eventually that hot dog and ice cream turns into a cocktail.
Yeah. I saw one of the best, one of those Instagram, me when I thin my wedge over the green and my playing partner says, you gotta, whatever. It was the clip of Samuel L. Jackson saying, I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
It's hard. It's a hard part. All right, we'll cut you loose. Have fun at the golf lesson. We appreciate it as always. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you, sir.
All right, Puck. I appreciate it, dude.